show the.
And I was saying that.
But I don't have that error that we had. You ended the meeting.
Oh, let me hold the laptop. Don't worry. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so I was saying that on the Power BI slide, we had to pick
Can you
the
hear me?
first 10.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jesse, we can hear you. Confidence is continuing to answer my question.
Okay, sorry, I was on. So confidence and team ended the meeting. I think that was an error. I don't know if the pressure was too much, or maybe you guys might need to drink some water so that you don't make that kind of mistake again. Confidence, can you hear me? Can any other person hear me? I can't hear anybody.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Louder.
Okay, great. Apologies. Team one, group one ended the meeting unknowingly. So we'll just have to continue. Francis, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Confidence, you had the question was on you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Question. So just please wrap up.
Okay, so if I'm correct, you asked us as regards how I got my data. I said that I worked with the top 10 countries after taking my data from WHO, UNICEF, and some other places I researched on.
Okay, that's fine. Because of time, I yield.
Okay. Please, permission for me to share my screen.
Please don't end the meeting again, no.
Okay. Hello, sir. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can, but please don't end the meeting.
At first. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, from the left side, let me enlarge it. Okay, this is infant maternal mortality rates data set, and this is the top 10 countries affected with 5 years range from 2016 to 2020, and with the color coding. For the green, it's 2020, and the light green is 2019. It's 2019. So if I mouse over on each of this color, which signifies the year, and the green, this is for the year 2020 in India, we're having 678,728 infants mortality case as at 2020, just 2020. So if you while Nigeria for the year 2020, same thing, 548,116. Then if we go to the region, for the region, if we go to the region, the same 5 years range from 2016 to 2020, we have sub-Sahara Africa, and which is actually the highest, and there are a lot of causes why it's like this, based on what my group member said. And then if we are to talk about infant mortality from 2016 to 2020 based on sustainable development goal by region.
Can you just summarize your points, as you're already out of time already?
Sir?
Can you kindly summarize your points, please?
Okay. All I'm trying to say is, with this data set we have here right now, why we are having normally as the year goes by, the numbers are meant to be decreasing, but it is not, due to some factors which some countries and some continents are facing. Maybe they are not really taking measures to control the things happening in their region and in their country. So that's the reason why we're having this factor still going the way it is. And let me share my other.
Can I maybe make a
Please,
comment?
can you permit me?
Question?
Okay, David has something to say, please. Let's get to David. Hi, David.
I want to say very quickly, confidence. I think you told a story with a lot of passion, fueled with these charts. But I think you can even do this better. Like, for example, when you have the first chart about the mortality amongst children. If you take Nigeria has approximately less than 25% of the population of India. So if you take absolute numbers, you will see, then you don't see actually what the impact is, because percentage-wise, it's far higher. So that's what made me so interested in kind of like trying to understand what is the story behind it. And I feel like what my colleague just said is like, it doesn't really explain. In your story, you don't really explain. I think you need to use the data to tell the story, and probably less is more. You put everything together. I would kind of like concentrate on like, what is the real problem? Take one or two countries. Why is Nigeria, why is it so high? Really extremely high, not a little bit of a variance, but an extreme variance. What are the main causes, and what could potentially impact that? And then indeed the historical data could prove a point to say we get more medicines on the market, we get more knowledge, and still we see an increase in mortality rates. Like, what can we do about it? I think storytelling with data, if you want people to take action, is extremely important. But I really liked in general, I really liked the analysis, and I felt the graphs were, besides that sometimes you should have used a percentage versus an absolute number, I think they were good.
Thank you, David. Angelo, are you on the call? Is Angelo still on the call? Okay. So, Kyle, are you on the call?
Jesse, while you're searching for people, if I could just butt in for 5 seconds.
Okay, that's fine.
And just buttress what David was saying. So I love stories, and I will tell you a short story. I would have been a statistic, you know, when you talk of maternal mortality. When I had my first daughter, I almost died in childbirth, you know. So when you started talking, I was really, you know, attuning my ears to hear what you were going to say. Because one of the things you would look at is, I am perhaps what you call a middle class professional. I'm educated. I had antenatal classes. I did everything I needed to do, you know, and yet I almost died in childbirth at a government hospital that had consultants and had, you know, maybe not state-of-the-art equipment, but they had everything. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to tell a story and explain why the rates are so high. One of the things you will find out, or if for instance, I'm sure you did, but you know, time wouldn't have permitted you to say, you know, look at the rates across towns, cities, and villages. You might even find, you know, that healthcare in the villages out of Lagos, far away from, you know, cosmopolitan areas, are even better. And then you would need to drill down and find out why. There are all sorts of, you know, causes and rabbit trails that you could have gone down to explain and to expound on the data. So the reason I was asking those questions, you know, was to say, what is the data telling you? What is the data saying? It speaks, you know. If you did across, and I'm giving this as an example because from almost 14 years ago, this is one thing I have, you know, followed up closely. You have a place like Ekiti State where the rates have gone down drastically, and that's because the government there, you know, started offering free maternal health care to people. So you have people who leave Lagos and go to Ekiti to have their babies because the rates are actually much less. So please, next time, as in this has been lovely, but just focus on telling the story, focus on letting the data lead you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm trying to get other people who, David, it seems you have addition to Toyin's feedback.
Sorry, you asked me? No, I feel like I think we're both kind of like on the
Same page.
waiting for the story. And I think that story was there, but it could have told in a little bit more detail. And I think it's also, if your own curiosity is there, you will find that data, or you'll find the combination, and it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to have the answers to everything, but it needs to tell a story.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tutu, I think Major just sent that the network is booting her out. So while she tries to join in, so Lucy, please get ready. You are next. Just kindly get ready. Tutu, do you have additions to Tutu? And yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
All right.
Okay, hi, Tinuke.
Speaking.
Oh, okay, hi, Tinuke.
Yeah. I wanted to chip something in. I mean, I want to draw them back to the question, right? The question said, share an analysis identifying key areas of impact. From everything I heard and saw, they took us on that journey of, the demography, across 10 countries, the top 10 countries, the courses, general courses. But this NGO wants to know, where should I focus on? Using your data, where should I focus on? So I'm wondering, what is their recommendation for this NGO? What are the key areas the NGO can make impact as far as reducing infant mortality? So I think, it ties into what David and Toyin have said. Being able to take your audience on that journey and landing them, in a place where they can make a decision with all the information you have provided. So right now, I am the NGO, and I'm looking for that area where I can make impact from all the data they've gathered. So that's my contribution.
Oh, okay, so group one, you've not answered the question on where should they look at. You're the consultant here, and you need to tell them where they should look at from the data that you've analyzed. So just in 60 seconds, please tell us, where should they look at, please? Where should the NGO look at? Where should Tinuke look at? Because she's now the client here. So tell us Tinuke where to look at. You're the consultant. Confidence, Francis, Favor, Nike, you have the floor. 60 seconds, please. We need to move.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry for earlier, it was the network. On that, part of the key areas to look at, I'll just list like 3. One will be the education. I think a quality education, when we ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, it will promote a lifelong learning opportunity for all. And secondly, the gender equality. When we achieve a gender equality and empower both women and girls, when we enable education between both women and girls for them to reach their full potential, it contributes to the development of a country. When both girls and boys are given equal opportunity on education, and some of it, and when we talk about the energy, when we ensure access, when there is access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy for all, like education, clean and accessible energy is an essential building blocks of a country's social, economy, and environmental development. You agree with me? So
Thank
those
you.
are some of
I don't know if that was...
we can put our eyes into. The education aspect,
okay, Tochi, do you have...
gender equality. Hello?
Okay, I'm a bit confused. Are you answering Tinuke's question or you're answering another question?
Yes, she has that. Where are the key areas to look into?
Okay, I wanted to be sure.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So
Yes,
Tinuke, I don't know if you agree to what she has said.
Some of the key areas to look into, like the gender equality, the education aspect, and the energy. These when
After speaking for group 2, like,
when we put in more effort on this
Exactly.
aspect,
Okay,
I think it
sorry,
promotes,
sorry,
it
Nike, you are
adds to
speaking
an
for.
economic growth of the country.
Can you hear me? You're actually
the member
speaking, you're
of
not
group
answering to Nike's question because I was a bit confused with your response. You're speaking on the
is a
word
member of
population.
group 2.
You're not speaking on, I don't think you were following the conversation. You missed the question because I was wondering, being in Nike's shoes, when you talked about gender equality and all that for an NGO that wants to, infant mortality, it's just a bit parallel. But anyway, we'll keep your response for, I think you're responding for group 2, and that's not the question. So, Tochi, do you want to answer the question? I think you are for group 1. The answer to Lucas' question, straight to the point.
Hello?
I think you heard the question.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm for the group 1. And I think our question
no, you're
was,
missing it. You're actually responding for. Hi, Nike. Nike, right? You're responding for group 2. Just we'll revert back to group 2. But currently with group 1, your answer is not in. You're not answering what the question that Nike asked. Yeah, so just we'll come to you.
Sorry, I was actually speaking for group 2.
It's fine.
Okay.
We've just figured.
I'm here now. Based on the question, looking at our charts, the thing there is, at first, if we are to look into the countries or the regions where they are having high rates of infant mortality, that's the rate at which children die early within the age of 0 to 4, which is the data set I got from Worldometer. At first, I can't really just say the NGO should look into Nigerian case, because we also have India. Their cases, they are very, very high, and there are lots of reasons. And one of the reasons should be maybe they don't have professionals doing their work well. They are not taking care of the children well, and some mothers are not really feeding their children well. They are not breastfeeding their children well, and they're not doing the necessary things to protect their children. So these are one of the areas they still need to look into. So which means parents, like mothers and even fathers, need to be trained. Like, please, let me just say seminar, call them together, bring up a program concerning children, what they should do to take care of their children, things like that, not just taking them to school and after everything, they just believe when they are in school, they are safe, and when they're back, then they just have.
Thank you, Francis. Tochi, do you want to add to what he has said as a member of Group 1?
To what my colleagues have said, I think there's a vast majority of these deaths in low resource settings, like low resource countries, and most of these deaths could have been prevented. So I think the most effective way to reduce infant mortality would be to encourage an uptake of maternal vaccinations, and also for public health agencies, if they can work together with healthcare providers, communities, and partners to reduce, to spread the word and educate people in these low resource countries like Nigeria, some parts of Nigeria, India, and all that. So I think proper education would help to reduce this infant deaths, encourage mothers to do the vaccinations, and also improving access to skilled health professionals during and after pregnancy. So I think this is my own addition to what.
Okay, I think I don't know if you can hear me, but I could barely hear Tochi, but that's fine. I don't know, Tinuke, I don't know if you got the message she was trying to pass. I could barely hear her.
Well, everybody has given me suggestions from their head. Nobody has given me data. So I'll move on. Thank you. Jason.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, the next we're having Lucy. Lucy, are you ready? Dominic, Tinuke, and David. This is HR. Would have Lucy, she'll be presenting on the HR front. And at Ejiro, I think she might join in. If she doesn't, we'll move on to I think Julian might also want to join the conversation here. So Lucy, are you ready? You have the board members waiting for you, and so you can go on with your presentation. Hi,
Just say
Lucy.
I'm ready. Please enable me to share.
Oh, okay, great. You can share your screen, please. All right. You can share your screen.
A minute, please. I just want to confirm, what should I share first? The PowerPoint or the Power BI, which one?
You may want to introduce with the PowerPoint, then you switch over to the Power BI from the data.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Lucy Bolaji. Can everyone see my screen? Hello, can everyone see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And is it, am I audible? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you for everyone that has presented. It's been quite a learning session so far. I've been learning. Again, I'm here to present a scorecard that tells us some cost implication around some HR metrics. So I hope to manage the time. Okay, so basically, like I just said, I'll be analyzing the cost implication of the following metrics across 4 different locations: Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan, or the company where I currently work, and then focusing on the following metrics: the recruitment, the compliance, and the trainings. I think for better understanding, I might need to navigate to the slide, the Power BI now, so that that's just a second. Okay. All right. So can everyone still see my Power BI screen? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So what we are looking at currently is the recruitment dashboard, which was one of my assignments. We're asked to create a dashboard. It's called Board, essentially for recruitment. And so we'll be looking at the cost implication for the 4 locations as I've mentioned. So we have Ibadan, Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. So, oh, sorry, I just did something now. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to remove this so everyone can see.
You're sharing your slide, the dashboard. You're sharing your slide.
Not the dashboard.
No, I'm seeing your slide. I don't know if someone has seen the dashboard, but I'm seeing your slide.
Oh,
so you just need to cancel share and then switch to the dashboard.
Okay.
Maybe you shared your
then share the dashboard
screen, but maybe you shared the particular window. That's why it's staying there.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Can you see my dashboard now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that, JC. Okay, so as I was explaining, this is the recruitment dashboard, and basically it's showing the 4 locations. So I'll be using the slider to explain some of the decisions that has happened or played out in the dashboard. Sorry, I have to score. Okay, so over the years, I've decided to work around 4 years. I just joined the organization, and then so there are a couple of things like I don't know if I need to bore you with the story. I joined the organization. I knew that there was a need. It was important that we start to gather some data that haven't been happening before. So I had to go this back to do this. So we have this 4 years, 2016 to 2019, and then we had different recruiters that recruited for the organization the some time. So basically what the dashboard helps us to explain is that over the years, there are some recruiters that have had some value to the organization, cost-wise and talent-wise, right? Recruitment is essentially getting us attracting the right talent for the right position. So we've had different needs to use different recruiters, and for different recruiters, we've had different talents, some that have stayed longer than necessary, and then some that have added more value. And another point why some of them have stayed with us is cost effective. They've been very relatively, their cost of recruitment and the availability of quality talent is very top notch. So if you check from here, you see that Kemi was able to recruit for the same organization across 4 departments and across 3 locations in 3 years, between 2017 to 2019. Mercy was able to recruit same 3 locations, 3 departments, 2 years, 2017 to 2019. Shegun was also able to do 3 years, 2017 to 2019 in 2 locations, while Tunde was able to do 5 departments in 3 locations across 3 years. And then Victor did only 1 year. So essentially what that tells us in a nutshell is, for now, as an organization, the year Victor had last recruited for the organization is 2016, and it hasn't been effective. And if you check again on the dashboard, you will see the need that the last time Victor recruited was in 2016, and the only location he recruited was Port Harcourt, and it was for the sales department. So, and since 2016, we hadn't expanded to Port Harcourt anymore. So my recommendation basically on the recruitment aspect would be that it's important that we expand the other aspects of the Port Harcourt department to ensure that there's evenly distribution of
Is Lucy still speaking?
Port Harcourt and Sunday, who has been. Can everyone still hear me?
Okay, we lost you for a bit, but you're back.
Sorry, some calls were intercepting. I'm sorry. Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
It looks like we lost you again.
Okay, sorry. So show the need, they show the need for us to continue to use them because they are staffers. They provided us with quality staff across all our 5 departments, essentially. Kemi gave us across the 4, while Tunde was able to serve across the 5, and they've done that essentially for over 3 years. So I don't know if that works, and also very cost effective. On cost, Tunde seems to be the reasonable, cost effective recruitment cost. Sorry, I already discussed it with what's his name, JC. I had some manipulation across so I need to come back to this. I don't know if I need to share an updated version, but so basically that is on the recruitment part. So back to the compliance, which essentially has to do with the regular hours, the overtime, the absence, sick leave, and sick leave, different reasons for absence and all that. And then essentially, I did not include a particular thing because I told Jesse, sorry, I'm not supposed to say this. I just came back from the hospital. I was very down. So this was done in a rush. My plan was to just oppose what the overtime has been across the department and then check it against the performance if the overtime correlates or equates the performance of each department across the years and across location. But I wasn't able to do that. So, but essentially, we're able to tell a little story with this, saying that across these locations, Ibadan, Port Harcourt seems to have the highest average percentage of location overtime in the location across the locations that we currently have our presence in. And then right now, also in the month of January, we had highest overtime hours of recorded the highest overtime, and same thing here. So I don't know how. Okay, so here you can see the peak here. The month
I can see I'm sit down with that chair, face that back.
Sorry, can anyone still hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I think just
You can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear
sorry.
you.
Okay, thank you. I heard a voice in the background. I'm sorry. I just thought that was okay. So in the month of March, absent hours grew the highest in the month of March, and then that we can also check in different years using at different locations using the slicer. So you see in the month of in Abuja, basically, we have the highest in the month of February, regular hours, and the peak period was around the mid of July, absent hours. And then, so basically, my organization is an education NGO, and so there are times when all these things, we work with the school calendar, and so when staff start to give reasons for absence and all, it becomes a necessity to understand the need for their absence. So July is still a bit of a big, more like a peak period because they're preparing for exam and break, long break and all that. So it was a bit of concern. And essentially what I did also put my recommendation here because I just was hoping I wouldn't even present again. But the fact, what I was trying to come up with this was the fact that we realized that with this overtime and the absent and all the record, it just goes to show that it does not merge with the performance. And so what it needs to do, what we need to do as HR is to see and understand the need, why people are going on absent. The reasons are not very tenable. There's no correlation. So the absent is becoming more and they are still within the organization. They've not quit and there are different reasons. So we just need to tailor that. That's still a work in progress, but this is just an elementary stage of my findings, which I just started. The last is a training cost per month. The training cost per month, essentially over the years of 2016 to 2019, we've had different levels of training per department and per employee, depending on their different needs. Then before the advent of COVID, there had been different reasons for people to go for different trainings just because you want it or you say you need it and all that. But going forward, what this has led us to identify is that some people have actually earned some trainings that have not had a ripple effect on their performance, on their job performance. And so going forward, we'll be needing to do some evaluations such that there will be need to evaluate trainings after probably maybe 3 months to ensure that whatever learned in the course of the month has actually been put back into, has had a positive impact on your work before you can be allowed to attend another training. So over the years, it's just a normal serene that there's a training course every year, different staff attend different trainings, and like it kept growing and growing. So averagely, we have 5 employees attend trainings monthly and different things like that across different years.
Thank you so much, Lucy. You've expended your time. During the Q&A, I think you'll be able to cover up the other aspect. So let's go straight into the Shola and Mercy. Please get ready. You're next. Shola's project is very interesting. It's around the insurance space. I'm sure Tony will be interested in that. That was Tony's. So let's stay glued.
Right.
We'll come to that. So David, let's have you first. Then Tunika on this next. So David,
yes,
over to you.
Yes. So Lucy, thank you for giving us these insights. I really like the way your dashboard looked clean. I think that was good. You had a good data set, although I noticed that the amount of standard hours was very consistent. So I'm not sure if that means you have no variation in your employee size or there is something else with it. I would like you to look a little bit more into, think of more in terms of KPIs and benchmark. So for example, when you look at recruitment, what I was interested in is to know the average cost per hire. I couldn't figure that one out from your dashboard. I know you have to cut the data, but I couldn't see it in your dashboard. The one that I really liked was the percentage overtime over the months, because that's something you need to control as an HR, and that gave a very good insight. And the last slide is like you've made 2 graphs, and they look very similar to graphical explanation about the data per employee and in total, and you see exactly the same trend. What is pretty explainable as well if you do it like that. I think you really need to look at when you position something graphically, like a chart. Make sure it's a chart that is meaningful, one compared to the other in that sense. And you mentioned something about 5.23 employee. What does that mean? Like, so, and the other thing I would say is like, think again about storytelling. What does the data really tell you? Like, what kind of actions we should draw as an HR professional out of this data and these insights? So what I felt like the dashboard looked pretty clean. Look a little bit more into KPIs, look a little bit more into elements that you can benchmark. I think it will be very good start.
All right, thank you. Tunika, over to you.
Thank you, David. Well noted.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for the background. You painted the background, so you gave us a context, under which you were speaking from. Also, I mean, like David said, the cleanliness of the presentation and the visualization, I think that was also a good one. On the recruitment scorecard, you featured, though you talked about it, you ran through it in your explanation, but I think for it to make sense to management, yes, management is interested in cost, but at the same time, if I'm spending money and I don't see the output of the money I'm spending, yes, my cost in recruitment is manageable. The benchmark is good, but the quality of hire, I would also expect to see a dashboard, showing the quality of hire. All right, so juxtapose. So recruitment and quality of hire. I think those two will send a stronger message to management. And on the second dashboard, which talked about overtime and absence rate, yes, there are 2 good indicators. I mean, absence rate has you might call it a lagging effect, but ultimately, if you monitor absence, you can connect it to attrition, you can connect it to engagement. But what I would also have like to see is, okay, what would you be recommending to your management based on the data you have shown? All right, so this is what our absence, we said it's pretty high. You also talked about overtime. You said there's no correlation between performance and overtime. So what's your recommendation, to your management? And the last one, just like David said, they are the same thing. The two scorecards you presented total training and training per employee, I mean, pretty much says the same thing. All right, so I would like to see something more that connects, training to probably your revenue, connects training to the business performance, something like that. All right, but all in all, I think you put in a good effort. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic. You've not.
Thank you very much. Well noted.
Thank you so much. Dominic, you've not said anything. I was just waiting for the next one, the insurance projects. That's where I was keeping you from, you and yourself and Tony. I'm sure you'll be able to play very well and give us real flow, because there were a lot of predictions that was done in that area. But let's just have you share your thoughts here before we move over to Shola, who's next. And after Shola, we have Mercy. We'll be trying up with Mercy. And for every other person in other groups, who, if you have one or two things, contributions to make at the end of, once Mercy is done, we would have you share your contribution, because everyone is called. I will give you that final opportunity. So Dominic, over to you.
So thank you, Lucy. I thought you did a pretty good job. I mean, the first thing in each of the presentations was answering the question, right? And what I noticed in yours, that you did actually try and answer the question. So that's always going to be a good start. The thing I noticed, all of us on this call, we love analytics. And for us, it's fascinating to go into every angle of analytics. All of us love that stuff. Unfortunately, for other people, it's not that interesting. All we care about is the recommendation, and all the other speakers, all the other board members have talked about, what's your conclusion? You can talk to me all day about the analytics, but actually, what's your conclusion from that? And what's your recommendation? So when it comes to conclusions and recommendations, I have the theory that really analytics is about anomalies. What's strange? What's unusual? And I noticed in that last analytic analysis that you had from Power BI, is there seemed to be a lot of spikes and anomalies, and I didn't really understand why they were there. And if I understood why, then I'd come to a recommendation, wouldn't I? I would say, oh, this is a bit of an odd number. Why is it odd? And the conclusion from that odd number would make me make a recommendation. It's like, that's odd. Maybe we're spending too much money on that. Maybe we're hiring from the wrong region. Maybe we're hiring for the wrong jobs. Maybe, whatever that is, whatever the number behind the number is, that's what leads me to a conclusion. And that's what the audience wants to hear. That's what, if I'm CEO of that company, what I want to hear is, what's strange here? Why is it strange? And what should I do about it? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just in general, across all the presentations, the other thing I notice is there's a basic problem with arithmetic. I think somebody famous, and I can't remember, I'd have to look it up. Somebody famous said once, if you want me to present for an hour, I can do it now. If you want me to present for 2 minutes, I need 2 weeks presentation preparation time, please. And you guys, you don't have a lot of time. So what you've got to do is do the basic arithmetic of saying, I've got 10 minutes. I cannot put 24 slides up in 10 minutes. It's not possible. So I've got to do the basic arithmetic of, first of all, somebody already said, what's my conclusion? So, tell, show, tell, right? Tell people what your conclusion is, show them how you got to that conclusion, and tell them again what your conclusion was. And you have to do that within a very short period of time. So therefore, you can't do that with 24 slides. For 10 minutes, I would probably have 2 slides. And in order to have 2 slides, I would probably have to have a conclusion, and it would be not every part of the analytics. It's what's my recommendation. And where does my recommendation come from? It comes from an anomaly of some sort. So I don't know whether that was helpful, but it helps then to tell the story if you start at the end with your conclusion and you actually focus on one area, which is basically what I think all the other board members have said.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Yes, we'll be moving to Shola. Shola will be having you share your presentation. Tony, please get ready. Julian, And also Dominic, David, and Tanika will be rolling in that light once Shola is done. Shola's project is very interesting because it combined a lot of aside with Power BI. There was a lot of Python done to it, a lot of predictions. I'm sure it will interest Tony the most because Tony plays in the insurance space. And this is actually Tony's topic anyway. Let me just put that out. So Shola, you have the floor. I think your background is a bit blurry. It's blurred. I'm not sure I can really see you. I don't know if other persons can see you, but from my end, yeah, I can't really see you. But you have the floor. You can. You ready to share your screen?
Anyway, I'm sad.
Are you ready to share your screen?
Okay. Good day, everyone. Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. So you have the floor.
Good day, everyone. I'm trying to share my screen. Good day, everyone.
Good evening. I can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Okay, I want to believe I'm speaking for everybody. I can see your screen. I can see the insurance claims in Nigeria.
My name is Shola. I'm on the topic of vehicle insurance claims. Then myself and Victoria, she's on the meeting as well. Okay, that's it. This project is Victoria. Topic for claims data. Can I see the trends of 2016 to 2020? That's the topic. Of the idea of my Power BI on my laptop. I'm using my official laptop, but I have this.
I don't know if it's you think Shola's network is fluctuating.
Yes, it's same thing from my end. Yeah, I also have that same feedback. Shola, your network is fluctuating. Okay, I think he's off the call. Okay, I don't know how long it'll take him to get back on the call. Messi, are you ready? Hi, Messi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, please, can you just okay, Shola, are you back? Okay, while Shola is trying to sort his network out, Messi, can we have you? If your network is okay, can we have you so we don't break the flow?
Okay.
So you can share your screen.
I've not seen the invite. Share my screen. I've not seen the invite to share my screen.
You can share your screen. Just share your screen. Just click on share your screen. You can do that.
Oh, okay.
I won't use video again. Let me just. Video to number.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Mercy Awala, and basically I'll be speaking on world population in terms of growth the last 10 years. So I picked data from 2010 to 2019. From the presentation, basically what we have is the introduction, executive summary, and percentage growth by country, income level by region, and income level comparison year on year. From the introduction and based on the brief given, it's actually for me to address the growth rates in population, in the world population in the last 10 years. So my data, like I earlier said, is from year 2011 to 2019, which is like 10 years. And looking at 7 regions. Sorry, something is actually blocking my view. Looking at 7 regions, East Asia, Pacific with 36 countries, have the Latin Caribbean, 42, Middle East and North America with 21 countries, and the Sub-Saharan Africa with 46. So the presentation shows only the growth rate in population and income level in these regions. From the executive summary, sorry, I have, okay. Something covering my screen. Okay, from the executive summary, basically actually highlighted most of the countries with the highest population growth in the year in question. And looking at the world population on its own, it grew for about 2.5 year on year. There were additions to the high income earners in these following regions: in East Asia, Pacific, Europe, Central, and the Middle East.
Television for now. Video don't track in it. No, it's okay.
Okay, someone is at the background. Okay, why the upper middle income earners, lower middle income earners all grew in the Latin American space and the Caribbean, South Asia, Sub-Saharan African. The details are below in my visuals. So for the first one, I have Asia and Pacific. Senegal happens to be one of the countries in this region. And looking at the rates, the growth rates, I compared what they had in 2010 versus what we have in 2019. And seeing the country that had the highest growth, Senegal here has the highest growth in terms of population, while Puerto Rico has the lowest growth rate. For Europe and Central Asia, Qatar has the highest growth population, and Bonias and other had the lowest in terms of growth rate. So that applies to also Latin America and Caribbeans. In the Caribbean, we have pre-demographics, and Syria Arab as the lowest and the highest respectively. For Middle East to Kuwait is a country with the highest population growth rate. North America, I have Canada. Canada seems to be growing higher than Bermuda, but is also in that space. Here we have the Maldives and Sri Lanka as the country having the decreasing rates as well. In Sub-Saharan Africa, I have Equatorial Guinea as a country that is growing, and Nigeria as second, and Russia as the least growth in the Sub-Saharan African countries. Looking at the income level per region, the income were actually, they are in this category: the high income, the lower medium income, and the upper income. From this presentation, from these visuals, what I have here is showing that in Asia and Pacific, they have more high income earners. So that way it's showing the fact that the economy seems to be doing better. They have people going into the high income bracket, and that of the lower income bracket is reducing. I have the same for Latin America and Caribbean as well. But this time around, it's the upper medium income bracket that seems to be growing. Their lower income is reducing. It also shows improvement in the economy in that aspect. And as far as areas of doing business seems to be doing better, and that way helping the populace grow, and they also grow in income level. In Europe, it's equally the same. High income earners seems to be growing, the bracket seems to be expanding, while the lower income seems to be reducing. We have that too in the Middle East and North America, and North Africa, sorry. On the next slide, for the North America, they still maintain the high income, bracket seems to be growing as well. For South Asia, lower middle income is the one growing. The middle income class seems to reduce. So there seems to be like some issues around the economy in this aspect, though not so badly that you have, you still have a reduction in the lower income space. But looking at sub-Saharan Africa, it shows here that the lower income bracket seems to be growing, which shows you have more people that dropped in this bracket. Having more people drop in this bracket and the high income reduced as well shows that the economy in that, looking at the economy, probably the policies and the programs in this areas, in this region, seems to be affecting the people, and hence it's putting more people in the low income bracket, and thereby showing that there are issues that needs to be addressed for a better economy. On this slide, I tried to compare year on year to see if there are serious changes as the year goes by. Well, for all the income levels, you see that they are just they are just minimal changes in terms of.
Okay, Mercy, can you please wrap up? You already used past your time. Julian, please be ready. You were starting with you. You have 60 seconds, please, to wrap up.
So looking at the countries with the highest population, South Asia, in terms of region, happens to have the highest population in numbers. So basically, like I said, for those who are dropping in the income bracket, what we have are basically possible policies and programs that are adversely affecting the citizens, and it's expected that the government has to look into it in terms of creating more jobs and conducive environment for business to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really spot on in terms of time. All right, Julian, let's have you open the floor with Mercy.
Sure, happy to. And I just want to let you know, unfortunately, I have to drop after this question, but I really appreciate all the presentations today. Learned a lot of cool insights shared. So thank you for that. Mercy, that was a great presentation. You covered a lot of very good data, and it was very clear. You explained the charts very well, which was cool, and I learned something. So just going back to Dominic's point, and I think it was a great one. The takeaways could have been a lot earlier. It just seemed like you got into the recommendations right at the end there. And so it was hard. It's hard to listen to the information without knowing why we're listening to it, to the information. What's the promise, right? So you had those recommendations. You just touched on it so briefly at the end, but maybe at the start you could say, you know, what would you like us to leave having learned as an audience, right? So, and if you want to elaborate on that now, please go ahead.
Okay, so so basically, like I said, we're just trying to establish, in terms of growth rate, how the regions are growing in numbers, and in those numbers, where they fall in, is the economy improving? In terms of, are they going into the brackets where we're seeing that lives are improving and the economy is actually creating that impact that we asked for? So that was just because the brief was for the growth rate and also for the income level at that time. Thank you.
I see. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Great work. Take care. Be in touch.
Thank you so much, Julian. All right. Dominic, can we have you come in on this? Yeah, this is where we have reserved you for. All right.
This is what you reserved me for, did you say? I mean, I go back to the same things, you know. So, like I say, we all love analysis. We're all analysts on this call, right? And you know, analysis paralysis is the classic problem. So, tell, show, tell. Come to a conclusion. Tell people what the conclusion is. Tell you how they arrived there. And then show them how you arrived there, and tell them what your conclusion was again. And that's what I didn't get this time. I must admit, I'm a little bit lost, Jesse. Was this not the one about insurance?
No. Insurance, I think it had network glitch, so we had to switch to avoid time because already off. We've gone off time, so any delay we'll just switch quickly. Insurance is the next.
Yeah. So you know, I don't really have anything to add. I mean, I think it's the same story. You know, where are the anomalies? What do they mean to us? And how can we narrow the options and recommendations that we have based on that? So, you know, at least your recommendations are short. So good on you for that.
Oh, okay. Tony, do you have, before we come to the insurance flow, where we would need you very well, do you have a contribution here or a question?
Nothing on this side.
Okay. Tonika, anyone from your hand?
No, Jesse.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, Mercy. I think you've done justice. We'll be moving straight to Shola. Shola, please, I hope your network is stable. You can turn off your mic.
Yes, I'll be quite
video.
fast.
You can turn off your video. All right.
Yes.
So this is the icing on the cake. All right. So, Mercy, you can kindly stop sharing your screen while we move over to Shola. Just on share. Okay, Shola, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Oh, all right, so you have the floor. You can share your screen.
Okay. Sorry, my networks were pretty bad. So I'll be quite fast because of network issue. Yeah, vehicle insurance claims in Nigeria. So because of we have 36 states in Nigeria, I just used sample of 11 states. And my data I used was based on Azure data based on institution and the research I made with my colleague. So I move to the next slide. Trends, claims by year. The first one says vehicle insurance claims was at the peak only in the year 2019, but came down in year 2020 because of COVID-19 pandemic. And in 2017, due to the market value of cars at that time. You can see the first trend. We can see that the first claim in the year, we had the peak. The claims was at the peak in year 2017, but in year 2019, but it came down in year 2017 as a result of market value of cars, because claims insurance in Nigeria is based on the value, on the market value of vehicles. The next visual says the same thing. Number of claims grew in year 2019 is related to highest amount recorded within this period. So this graphics visual is telling us number one, claims per year, and the number per year, which is number of claims grew in 2019. This result to the highest amount recorded within the period. Next visual, claims by states. As I've said earlier, that I used data from 11 states. Now you can see claims by year and states. Amount of claims per year from 2016 to 2020. Rivers State recorded the highest claims in year 2016, 2017, and 2019. This is quite interesting because it was recorded that based on my data, that the amount that was claimed in Rivers was quite higher from Lagos. You not be wondering why is it possible? Fine, Rivers is a state of it has hosts a lot of multinational oil companies, and most of the vehicles they do more of comprehensive. And by the time you value it in Naira, the amount is quite higher than that of Lagos. Lagos has volume, fine, when it comes to number of claims, but in terms of the amount, Lagos was quite lower than Rivers State. So you can see in terms of billions. Now, when I use other ED, enhanced data analytics, which is Python, I still got this as well. In terms of the numbers, it was Lagos, but in terms of volume in Naira, it was Rivers. Then total sum per state, which is stated here. Lagos has the highest. Of course, total sum claim within the year under review, which is between 2016 and 2020. Lagos has the highest number of claims. That is owing to the fact that Lagos is the economic epicenter of Nigeria. This is followed by Rivers and FCT. Mind you, I said I used data from 11 states, which included Sokoto, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, FCT, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom. Hope you are following me. I'm pretty fast because I'm mindful of my network. I don't want to have any break. So fine, we are talking about insurance in Nigeria. There are two types that we identify here. We have what we call comprehensive. A comprehensive type is that when you buy a vehicle, for example, you buy an SUV that worth like 10 million naira. So if you are doing comprehensive, which means that it will be like 10% of the total value. And most people, it's very few people goes for comprehensive because of the amount of vehicle. Most people buy what we call token, which is second-hand use. For probably with the value might be like, let's say 1 million. So they will now be wondering what's the essence of going for comprehensive. But basically, third party too is what is more common in Nigeria, which is 5,000 naira, no matter the SUV, no matter the type of the vehicle. We can see that we have more of third party than comprehensive. So from the data visualization, very few states like Rivers and Lagos record the highest claims. Hence, government should join forces with the agency responsible for regulating business in Nigeria, such as the Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, to regulate the Nigeria capital market. The Economic and Financial Commission to investigate economic crimes and political offenders in Nigeria and the Nigerian Customs Service. The reason is this, why I'm calling it like this, because there's a lot of money that the country can make if people actually go for comprehensive, and which will actually bring in more fun into the Nigerian economy. But like some people that have like all these podcasts that worth 20 million, you can imagine some people go for third party for a vehicle like that. So if there is a kind of sensitization that look, you since you have this kind of vehicle, you have to, and at times some people undervalue the value of a vehicle. So the government should also weed out undesirable or claim elements within the insurance company. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me, Shola?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah, you want to show us anything from the Power BI dashboard or anything, information before we move to the board members?
Yeah.
You'll be setting.
I'm quite sorry. It was when I was in the meeting, I realized that people were using Power BI and Python to demonstrate. Unfortunately, I'm using an official laptop and I don't have the right to install Power BI and Python.
All right, that's okay. So Tony, let us have you. Can you kindly stop sharing your screen? Let me. Well, we have Tony. Hi, Tony. I don't know if you're still on the call.
Yes, I am, but just give me 2 minutes. I need to settle down.
Okay. So Dominic, do you want to get on before Tony starts?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. You know, if I was the insurance company, you know, the number of claims is only of peripheral interest, isn't it? I mean, what I really want to know is what proportion, you know, so I'd want to start seeing percentages. You know, so obviously Rivers, I don't know Nigeria very well, but obviously Rivers and Lagos are the two big states. So what that high number of claims is expected, but what are they as a proportion of the population of those states? That's the first thing. And then the other thing is, you know, what are the events that result in claims? Because if I was an insurance company, I might want to ask for a premium based on those events. So is it to do with where the person lives? So within Lagos or within Rivers, is it to do with the place, you know, a particular suburb or particular sub area of that state? Is it to do with the demographic of the driver? Is it to do with the kind of vehicle? Is it a commercial or private vehicle that are resulting mostly in claims? Is it the red cars? Somebody told me once that red cars is a higher insurance claim probability. But the point is, there's an awful lot of information missing for me if I was the CEO of an insurance company to really make decisions about how I should structure my my claims business. Did you have any other data other than just numbers, counts?
Well, within the period of this research, I realized that most of those information are coded, and I couldn't get anybody from any of the insurance players because, you know, in data in Nigeria is quite interesting unless you're able to maneuver your way. But you said something about demographic. Yeah, I agree with you. But the topic says the trend of claims within 2016 to 2020, that is from state view. So maybe this question you're asking me, I didn't mean it was stated in my topic. I would have cared more to look at demographic. There was the reason, maybe the kind of vehicles that has highest, maybe because it's sporty vehicle, or maybe because it's rented and the other things. So thank you, observed and it's noted. But based on the information I was asked, that's what I worked with.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The first half of the question was what stories can be told about the trend of claims? And the second half of the question was, what should the government look at in regulating the claims market in Nigeria? Because if I'm the insurance company, I might go crazy and start charging ridiculous premiums. And the government might say, well, hang on a second, right?
Yeah, you're correct. That's why the government agency has to come in, the custom, so that when you are bringing your vehicles, you have to let us know the actual value so that they won't be undervalued. Because most people undervalue the vehicle being brought in. Maybe it's worth like, for example, let me use in dollars so you may understand. Maybe it's supposed to be like $5,000, and people are saying it's worth like $1,000. So the premium that's supposed to go to the insurance company, and where the government will get more fund, it will be undervalued. That's why I conclude that the necessary government agency should try and go after the vehicle owners to make sure that at the point of entry, that the normal thing is done. They carry out the due diligence. Yeah, thank you for your observation. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have any demographic data in terms of just population numbers, you know, as a percentage of the population?
Is that claim, but just like what?
Are those claims higher as a percentage of the population, or are they lower as a percentage of the population?
Yeah, yes, you know, in my presentation, I said
before responding, so that you can get the meat of the question. Because when you interject, you will not get the message, and you will not allow the board member flow.
Okay. Okay, you have the floor now.
Dominic, can you rephrase the question for me, because it was interjecting while you were.
Yeah, sorry. My question was just in terms of, you know, census data. So the populations of rivers, for example, and Lagos, what percentage of the claims as a percentage of the population? Did you have that data? Because that might help us understand whether that's high or low. Obviously, if it's a bigger state, the number of claims will be higher, but as a proportion of the population, were the claims higher? That was my question.
Okay, thank you very much. In my presentation, I didn't have the data, but based on institution and my observation, Rivers State has a lower population compared to Lagos. Lagos is about 20 million people, and Rivers State is about 5 million. So why the amount from Rivers State is high is because they have multinational companies and their income per capita is very high. Most of them goes for new vehicles, for example, maybe $5,000, and may have that of like 100. But in Lagos, we less. So by the time you look at the number of claims, because of the nature of the business in Rivers State, more people go for comprehensive. And by the time you add those ones, you see that it's higher than Lagos. But in Lagos State, we have more population. But in terms of the type of vehicle or what they can buy, it's just it's only second-hand, or let's say foreign use vehicle. So that is why. But in terms of population, Lagos.
Okay, I don't know, Shola is off, but this is I think I was
there, and
your network is breaking, but if you can see what I'm sharing, I just call up your presentation. I had to request for it. So I don't know if there's anything you want to speak to the this is your Power BI analysis.
Yeah. Yes, I think I've already explained that. And this way I just save it as a PDF and I got the presentation. Yeah.
All right, great. Just to be sure that you've covered all ends. Okay, so Dominic, are you satisfied with his response?
Well, yes, because I mean, the point he makes, which is a very good one, is that rivers, even though it's substantial, I didn't get the exact numbers. I think Lagos was 20 million and rivers was 5 million. So the proportion of claims in rivers is substantially higher. And that was actually the conclusion that Sola came to, right? So that was pretty good.
Okay, great. So I don't know, Tony, I don't know if you're ready now.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I had
Okay.
to leave. I was in the office. I had to leave because it's getting late. Yeah, so I listened to your presentation, Chola, and I first of all say well done because I understand how difficult it can be working with this kind of thing and not getting sufficient data or the kind of data you're looking for. So the first question is, what was your source of data? I'm sorry if I missed that. The second question I have is, how did you arrive? I know you chose Cross River, Rivers, Lagos, Sokoto, but what was the rationale for choosing those states? How did you arrive at the 11 states you selected?
Okay, thank you for your question. No, and 30 states. I tried to make sure that I select at least one state from each of the region. We know that Nigeria is shared across 6 regions. So that's why you can see we have the northern, we have the north central, we have the northeast, northwest, southwest, and the southeast. Now, the data, you know, in the course, when I said it earlier, that in the course of doing this project, myself and my other colleague, we tried everywhere to make sure that we actually got the raw data from the right source, but we couldn't get. So we now use intuition as data, and we make our findings, personal findings from people, and we're able to conclude with this, that this is the data we use. But if you're able to get the raw data, no data is like oil. So for you, it's like it's not something we can easily come across with. We try the internet, we try everywhere, but later we made a personal research, and we're able to get an intuition data, and we have some data. And by the time we make inquiries from people, we realize that the data we use is quite correct, at least based on the visuals we're able to get out.
I'm sorry, that still doesn't answer my question. So the source of this data, is it insurance companies? Is it the vehicle licensing agency? Even if you're not telling me, okay, it's from this particular source, what kind of agency? Where did you get the data?
Well, I can say from insurance. Yes.
From insurance.
Based on the
one or two
yes,
or three
yes.
or four. Yes. How many insurance companies? Just one?
Like 2.
Okay.
Because I do insurance for my vehicle too. So I was able to make some findings, and we were able to build some data together based on our findings.
Okay, the very first thing is
directly from me.
Okay, no problem. The very first yes. Sorry, I said the very first thing is the source of your data is important, because you can pick up a whole batch of data and work on it and come up with recommendations. But the fact that the data is wrong from the very beginning, just skews your entire project. So I hear you. I understand how difficult getting data is, but I just want to say that that's important. You need to get the correct source of data. The second thing, yes, I'm agreeing with Dominic's assertions. You could have gotten quite a lot of insights with this data. What I heard, it seemed to me that you had, without even looking at the data, you had arrived at conclusions, and you therefore were just, your data was therefore supporting your initial assumptions, as opposed to getting your data and drilling down and getting, and seeing, all the trends and being able to predict based on what the data was telling you. So I'll just give an example. One of the things I would have loved to see, for instance, would have been a categorization by vehicle type. That would tell a whole story. You might even just come up and say, we are sure that there are over 100,000 downfalls in Lagos. That's the yellow public transport vehicles, and only 2% of these vehicles are insured. And you can come up with a recommendation for the government to say, look, we have NURTW, which is the National Union of Road Transport Workers. We know they're collecting levies. We know that, they have that leverage with them. So therefore get insurance agents to go through them and ensure that they're insured. And one of the things that would do is everybody's, if you drive in Lagos, you would know that my daughter is always praying, mommy, let us pray for the damn food driver so they will drive well. One of the things insurance is able to do is able to change, change behaviors. If they are now paying, a premium for what do you call it, for insurance, then they will drive better. But well, that's another story, because how much is a damn fool worth? That's another thing you're looking at. I loved the fact that you were able to come up with the fact that people are undervaluing their vehicles. So one recommendation would be, how does the government ensure that every vehicle coming in is registered, and maybe there's a set government, what do you call it, valuation agency. So even if you come in and say, oh, I bought this as scrap, $500, they would look at the make of the car, the year of the car, and they're able to go, and do independent research and come up with a value that, justifies the amount the government is asking for. Those are things that you could have gotten from the data. It's a whole lot. So one of the things I really want you to go back to do, I know that this is like an end of project and all that, but honestly, if you get valuable insights, it's the kind of thing insurance companies are looking to make, we need data. We actually have the data. So
yes,
one of the things although I might not have been able to get you the data, but at least I could have pointed you in that direction, would be to go back and say, look, I need a data source. Where do I get this information from? I can go on and on, but let me just end with that. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your view. Thank you.
Victoria, Victoria on the call. So let us hear your contribution. We've had Shola, drive us through the conversation, but it would be nice to have you share what you did, your contributions to this project. And if the other members of the other group, if you are still available on the call, we'll be concluding with your own contributions if you have any. And that's how we'll be closing the meeting today. So Victoria, over to you. Do you have any contributions? I don't know if you're on the call. Let me see. Yes, you're on the call. So do you have any additions to this? So it doesn't assume that, we don't assume that Shola did the project alone. Hi, Victoria. Sorry, we have 60 seconds to take this. Are you on the call? You're on mute. Are you making any contribution, or should I assume that Shola did this alone? Because that would be the impression. Okay, I think we will take that as the assumption that Shola worked on this alone, which is not good, because the learning ought to be mutual, and that's the essence of this group project. Okay, so we'll be wrapping up with, I think, was it group 2? Nike was trying to give a contribution, but she was answering Tanuka's question wrongly, because she was answering for group 1. Nike, you have that chance now. We need to close this meeting in the next 120 seconds. So you have that chance now to register your name on today's call as one of the presenters. You have the floor.
Hello?
Yes, your volume is a bit low. So if you could increase it so that we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
60 seconds, please. 60 seconds, please.
Okay. I just want to summarize what Abdulhakeem has said earlier with the topic. The key areas to just look into, as in the key area of interest and the implication of the population growth, are just part of what he has mentioned. Which one is the key one is the education, and I think education is one of the most effective ways to.
Okay, thank you so much. That's okay. Okay, thank you so much. Abdulhakeem, can we give you 60 seconds to, I think your group members are trying to articulate their points. Let's see whether you can save them in the next 60 seconds, please. 60 seconds, please.
All right. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak again. So what our project was all about was very simple, and it was all about how to control the world population from extinction, because there are some scientists that talked about how the world is going to go into extinction very soon. And those parameters, those indices that we looked upon that can prevent the overpopulation that can lead to our extinction, education, economy, health, climate change, energy, and gender equality. And these are the factors we put together and we spoke on each and every one of them. Allow more people to go to school, make healthcare affordable and available to everyone, support the female gender to be able to participate in the labor force, make them be part of the people that make policies. Also climate change, how we can stop the burning of forestation, and so many other recommendations that are under each of those points. But it's unfortunate that network really affected us. But in summary, just 30 seconds, in summary, what we've been able to put together is how to avoid the extinction from overpopulation using these indices that we provided. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the presenters. We'll be giving the board members, I think we just have Dominic, we have Toyin, we have Tinuke on the call, and I think my colleague Benga, if you can speak. I know you are currently on the tax at the moment, but if you can speak to just give the final words to all the presenters and maybe recommendations on any areas that they could do better on, and we close the meeting. So let's start with Toyin. Toyin, let's start with you.
Okay, yeah, I'm home now. Yeah, just to say very well done. It's obvious, you know, everybody has put in a lot of work to this. Please take all the feedback as that feedback and just use it to improve. I think the most important thing I see coming across, and it's something, you know, all technical guys are guilty of. We love to do all the work, but when it comes to selling what you've done, the work you've done, and that is sort of a problem. So presentation is something that would everybody needs to work on. But well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dominic, can we have you next?
I have nothing to add to what Toya just said, actually. That's exactly my perspective as well. A lot of hard work, so congratulations on that. Thank you very much. It's been enjoyable.
Thank you so much. Benga, do you want to say anything? If you can say something, yeah. Okay, Benga.
Thank you, Jesse. I would just like to say thank you to all the panelists. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to contribute because I had some other thing I had to quickly attend to. But I've been able to listen to all the comments, and the quality of the feedback from the panelists is very, very impressive and very important. So I'll just say to all the participants to take the feedback, apply it to your work, apply it to whatever it is you have to do. It's not enough to do the analysis. It's about selling the information itself. So also, I think you all can be proud of yourselves to the participants, looking at where you're coming from and where you are right now. It's just to brush up on all those things and take the feedback that you have been given. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much. And we'll crown up with Tinuke. Tinuke, can you? I'm sorry to mute this person. So Tinuke, we'll crown up the remarks with you. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well done to everyone that has put in the effort in all the panelists have said. Yes, it's step one to be able to use the data and come up with analytics, but beyond the analytics, there's a recommendation decision making. I mean, that's the goal, that's the end point of any analytics work you're doing. If you're unable to help your audience solve a problem or reach a decision, the data and all the hard work may as well, be underrepresented. So yes, well done for the hard work during the time. I'll add as something to go away with. Develop your skills in the area of addressing the problem, the issues, and communicate together. I think when you add this to the portfolio you already have, it can make you much more impactful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tinuke. I'm sure that for everyone who has presented the skill level, I'm sure you've seen the growth in the skill level. Personally, I must say that from what I saw coming from where we were initially, because at least to a very large extent, I have a first-hand meet up with everybody who has presented before they started learning these skills, and I can see improvements. Just like everyone has said, I'm a design thinking person, and one key thing around in design thinking is to be able to solve the right problem and communicate recommendation and insights, eating on the problem, just like every board member said here. I want to thank everybody for staying with us. We shot beyond our time, but I want to thank everyone for the patience. Thank you, Dominic, for waiting all through. Thank you, Tony, for staying all through. Despite the fact that you had to change locations, you still kept on the call. And I want to thank also Benga also for staying. I understand that you have some deadlines at the moment and you have to still, stay in on the call. Thank you so much. And Madam Tinuke, thank you so much for also staying in on the call. And for everyone who has presented, thank you so much. We've come to the end of the boardroom session. I'm sure we have experience of the boardroom. I wasn't surprised when I saw a bit of fidgeting, especially with the first presenter. It's always like that on the boardroom. And but I'm sure over time we got used to it. Thank you so much. Let's have a wonderful evening. If you are, depending on where you are anyway, if you're in Canada, I think it's still morning. Yeah, it's getting to noon. If you're in Africa, West Africa to be precise, Nigeria, you are around 6 to 8, or wherever you are. Let's have a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you.
Do have a wonderful night rests or day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll reach out to everybody. Thank you. Bye.